when we tend to make mistakes in life, we can also tend to come down on ourselves and be hard on ourselves and tell ourselves really negative things that are not helpful, and almost revert back to old narratives of unworthiness and not feeling like what we're doing is enough, and feeling like maybe we just don't have what it takes to step into the new version of ourselves, the new beliefs that we want to adopt. These mistakes and roadblocks that we experience are just a part of the experience. They're a part of life, and we have to come to a place where we can have grace and hold ourselves in that grief, and hold ourselves in the realizations that, like, oops, I did something that I knew I shouldn't have. I did something that was a like a no-no, and allow ourselves to tell ourselves that it's still okay, that we're still okay. Taking these mistakes, taking these lessons, and turning them into wisdom, alchemizing them into something that can help someone else, alchemizing them into something that can help ourselves, that we can take it and just allow it to be a lesson, to learn the lesson. And if we have to keep learning it over and over, to say that that's okay, just to be strong in that. I know for me, I especially come down on myself so hard because I'm out here teaching and preaching all of the things that I've found that work. And so when I revert back to something that I know I could have made a better choice, I don't know if this resonates with you, and I don't know if this is something that you can relate to. Hopefully you can. If you're watching this, you resonated with this somehow, and you probably have had the feeling somehow, some way, at some point, that when you make a mistake, when you go back to a behavior that you know is not good for you, that you know you have outgrown, that you know is like, you saw the choice, you saw yourself from the outside looking in, especially in hindsight, when you say, there were two choices, A and B. I chose B. I chose that. And it was such a big mistake. And now you're reaping the repercussions. I don't know if that's dealing with the consequences of having made a choice that was not the best one. Allowing that mistake to be a lesson in a way that you can turn it into something beautiful. Not trying to get over it very fast and trying to push it into something so that you can feel better about yourself very quickly. For me, I allow myself to cry. I allow myself to feel the anger, to throw things, to be in this place of disappointment, because if I don't allow myself to flow through that, then it'll manifest as something else. And so allowing yourself to feel sad, sitting with yourself, letting the tears come to say, wow, I'm so sorry. Apologizing to yourself, to say, I'm so sorry for not listening to that part of me, that inner voice, either the higher self or the inner child that wanted to be listened to, that needed to be heard, that had the right answer, but it just felt more comfortable, it just felt natural and automatic to revert back to what I knew. And I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And although I'm so sorry, although I made a choice that I wasn't supposed to make, perhaps that I could have made a better choice, I am still worthy of love. I am still here and to make the commitment that you will never abandon yourself, regardless of whether you abandoned yourself just a little bit in making the choice that wasn't the best choice to make. To still stand firm in the fact that you have yourself, no matter what, that you're gonna have your own back regardless, even though you fucked up, even though you made a mistake, that you know you had the opportunity to make a better choice, that it's still okay, that you can still come back to yourself and make a better choice the next time around. I was on my way to the gym and I had to just stop and come back to be able to share this message because it's just so heavy on my heart right now. And I know that whoever you are, if you found this video, that you need to hear this as well. That maybe you're in a place where you are sitting very deeply in that place, or maybe you're starting to believe the thoughts that, okay, since I didn't make the right choice when I had the opportunity to make a choice, maybe I'm just not deserving. Maybe I just don't have it in me. Maybe I just don't have what it takes to stand up and make these different choices when the opportunity presents itself. So I should just be who I am and accept that. You can choose that, because everything that we experience in life and everything that we draw into our lives and have mirrored and reflected out into our lives are what we create in our minds. And so you also have the opportunity to choose something better, to choose to say, yeah, I did that and it wasn't so great, but I also can move past it. I can choose again and again and again to try something new, to try something different, and to tell myself that I'm still okay, that I have my back, and that I will continue to show up even when I have these moments where I flip the script on myself. Like, these are the opportunities, these are the rare moments that we have to come back, to turn this wound into wisdom, to turn this new wisdom into art. And art can be anything that you choose to create in your life. The way that we choose to live our lives is art, is our art. You don't have to be a painter, you don't have to be a dancer, you don't have to be a singer. I am all these things, so that's where I automatically go when things happen in my life where I'm like, oh, that was not the best. And now I have pain. Okay, now I am hurting. I don't like this, but I know in the back of my mind as an artist, I identify as an artist, and you may not fully identify as an artist, but the way that you live your life is your art. So you can choose to take this mishap, to take this misstep, to take this roadblock and turn it into a bridge, to turn it into something else, to turn it into whatever you call your art. You can write about it. You can turn it into a play that you want to put on for your friends. You can turn it into a piece of art if you draw, to translate your experience into something that cannot be defined in words, and to allow it to go forth so that other people can identify with this pain. Because what we are experiencing in life, what we have come to recognize as an as a mistake, someone else out there has experienced the same thing, and someone else out there is probably feeling isolated in their experience. This experience of life is what draws us together. And when we come to these places where we have these moments that feel so muddy, that feel like they feel so dark, feels like we can't see the way forward, we can take that darkness and turn it into something that can be seen. There's always a way. There's always a way to translate what we're feeling and what we're experiencing and the human experience that we're having, to help someone else. Because something that you're experiencing that you feel is just so hard and so challenging that you just cannot get out of, if we choose to be our own heroes in that moment and mold and shape our heartbreak and our disappointment in ourselves, shape it into a sculpture of beauty that we can look at and share. It can help someone else. It can help our future selves. It can help our past self to heal. Everything that we're experiencing, the memories that we have of these moments that are seemingly failures, can be looked at in a different way when we choose to do that. There's construction going on outside of the building that I'm in, and sometimes, the old version of me would choose to be really annoyed. Like, why am I here? And there's all this construction going on around me, and it's so annoying, and I would rather not be around all these sounds. But I'm in the city. It happens. I like to think of the idea of construction and look at that mirror that I'm being shown and choose to look at the fact that I am around sounds of construction to remind me of the construction that's going on within myself. How am I building my own foundation? In these moments, when we have this new level of pain, especially when you are going through a healing journey and you have realized that there's things that you want to tend to within your own heart, and know that you have this human experience that you're going on in life, that none of us are perfect, and the idea and the goal is not to become perfect and become completely healed in whatever way that looks like. The idea is to hold ourselves in that healing and know that these experiences are just experiences, and we can choose how we want to sail and surf throughout all of that. It is so hard. It's especially hard when you're in it, when you're feeling the deep, deep level of disappointment in yourself for making a choice that you knew, especially because you have the tools, that you're learning all of these new things, and you're learning what is going to be best for you. You're learning the steps that you need to take to get to where you want to go. You know the formula, you have the framework. You know that when you get in front of this person or in front of this opportunity, what to say, how you would want to come correct, right? To say these things, to have the script, to step forward and be confident and know how you want to show up and know how you want to place your boundaries and be this better and more aligned version of yourself. Like, okay, we know what to do, but a lot of times we are faced with opportunities that test us, and sometimes we fail the test. Sometimes we fail the test, and we have to allow ourselves to love ourselves regardless of whether we perceive ourselves to have passed or failed. When we feel like we failed, and we feel like we've made a choice that was not the best choice, like, oh, why did I do that? Why did I do that? To know that it's okay, because mistakes are how we learn. Mistakes give us the rhythms to dance to this music. Nothing is ever a straight line. I don't think we're ever going to get to a place where we're doing everything perfectly all the time. We have to get to a place, though, where we can have compassion for ourselves when we do something that may not be the best thing, and thus we have compassion for everyone and everything around us. When you can allow yourself to have compassion, even though you made a choice that may not have been the best choice. Because you had the tools, because you read all the self-help books, you've listened to some of my videos, you have written in your journal about the most grand and beautiful life that you want to have, and you have it in your mind, and you're doing the visualizations and meditations, and you feel like you're equipped to go out into the world and make better choices, and then all of a sudden do something that just brings you right back to square one. We can be tempted to tell ourselves that it's not working, that we are failures ourselves, that we're losers, that it's just not possible for us to have the life that we want, that maybe it's just not meant to be. I have especially had those thoughts, even recently. For example, what I'm challenged with right now is being in a relationship with different men and finding my way through that, and finding a way to honor myself and step into new versions of myself in relation to the men that I'm dating, and having relationships reflect the highest version of whatever I want them to look like. And sometimes I go back to behaviors and habits that I know are not the best, just because it's what I'm used to doing, it's what I'm used to being. And telling myself that it's okay, to tell myself that I'm still worthy of having the relationships that I dream of having, and that it's not too late, that I can continue to learn, and that these mistakes are some of the biggest lessons, because when they happen, when I do things that I'm like, oh, that was really left field, like I shouldn't have, why did I do that? Why did I say that? Why did I allow that to happen? A lot of that may be a trauma response where I blame myself fully for everything that happens, or consequences that come about from maybe not setting the right boundary or saying the right thing. But then again, like, what is the right thing? That things are neither black or white. We're all learning and growing and shifting and bumping into each other and figuring it out along the way. And although we are doing this, although we are creating lives how we see them to be, to how we see fit, like what am I trying to say? We are just doing our best, okay? We are learning and shifting and growing, and even when we tend to make mistakes, when those mistakes hit the hardest, so from my example, when I make a choice that I know was not the best choice, or setting boundaries is like a very foreign concept to me because I didn't grow up with the concept of boundaries in my mind. We didn't have this kind of language. So I'm having to relearn this or teach this to myself as I'm going along, and I make mistakes. And I want to come down on myself and say, well, maybe I'm just not meant to have the life that I want because I'm not doing it right. I don't know how to do this. It's not easy for me. So we have the choice then to stick with that old narrative and go back to a place of accepting what has always been, or saying, no, I'm gonna keep trying. I'm gonna keep showing up. I'm gonna keep implementing the things that I know to be true, that are gonna give me the life that I really want, regardless of whether I fuck up. Because when mistakes happen, when we do these things, when we are on a date and we fail to set a boundary and we face the consequence of having something happen from that makes us feel so down, that makes us feel like just wanting to throw our hands up, like, why even try? Feeling that deep sadness and feeling the repercussions of it, and allowing that feeling to be our guide, to know that just because we feel it doesn't mean that has to be the end all be all. Those feelings are what push us toward where we really want to go. The fact that you're upset, the fact that you're angry, the fact that you're disappointed in yourself means that you care. It means that you want to do better. And so we have the opportunity to do that. You know, and I try not to get too down on myself. I allow myself to feel sad. I allow myself to have a moment where I'm like, oh, that was not good. Like, that was not what I wanted. And I know I could have made a different choice. But we always have another choice around the corner. We have an abundance of opportunities to bump into new mirrors, new people, new adventures, new ways to be placed in a position to be tested again and again and again. I'm a beautiful woman. I know that men are always around. They're always available for me to have experiences with. I know this. So I know that I'll have another opportunity to do better next time. I hope that this relates with someone out there somewhere who is going through the same thing, where it's like, it's hard. It's hard to have the belief, have the realization, have the knowledge, and know what the right thing is to do and still not do the right thing. It happens. It happens. And it's okay. And you are still deserving of everything that you want. And you have another chance to get it right. Even if you are with the same person or in the same circumstance that you made a mistake with. We can choose to choose differently every time, every second of every day. What we're experiencing is just a reflection of our inner world. And so riding the waves of what we are experiencing in life, allowing ourselves to feel whatever comes up and have this beautiful dance within ourselves and everything around us that gravitates towards us, that mirrors out from us. Everything we're experiencing in life, every person we end up in relationship with, whether it be friend or chosen family or a romance, is just a reflection of us, everything and everyone. So I've even come to a place where I don't automatically blame the person. I'm looking at what I did and what I said that can change and give me a better result. From that, I can turn the experience that may not have been the best experience, the consequence, the sadness, the disappointment, into something that can be translated and can last and withstand the test of time. Some piece of art, some journey that I can share. I'm always thinking, oh, this is gonna make a great play. This is gonna make a great chapter of a book. This is, nothing we're experiencing is for nothing. Everything we're experiencing is leading us to our highest purpose, whatever that is. And we don't know what that is. We don't know what it's supposed to be. We can have our North Star. We can have something that guides us, that we feel very motivated by, that we feel pumped up, and the fire that is tended within us that we're moving towards. We know what we want within ourselves, having that want, and knowing that each day that we get, each moment that we have to breathe, to walk, and to do it all over again is another moment to get it right. Whatever right looks like for you. So I believe that as long as we come back to that, come back to the heart of what we truly want, there's no way we can't have it. Visualizing it in your mind and knowing that it's possible for you makes it possible in some form, in some place, in some space and time. All we have to do is keep coming back to align with that truth, to align with that ultimate visualization, to know that it's possible to have because we have had it in our minds. It's as simple as that. So I tell this to myself, and I'm telling it to you, and I know that I'm smiling now, but earlier today, I went through a whole spiral of, oh my God, this is awful. Why did I do that? How can I turn this into something better? Almost trying to run away from it, but to sit with it and to know that it's okay, to know that it's all just a lesson, that it's just an experience, and this is what we came here for. This is what our souls came to do, to relearn and to just keep giving ourselves the opportunity to get it right, to do better, to come back to what we really, really want and create that for ourselves. It's possible. And if you're here listening to this message, it's possible for you as well. I hope that you feel encouraged to come back home to yourself, to hold yourself, to sit with yourself and breathe. Tell yourself that you are okay. To have a moment. So what I did earlier after I got done crying and feeling short moments of despair and wanting to throw my arms up to the wind and just say, maybe this isn't for me, because I'm sitting over here wanting to practice what I preach and live this life that I know I can have, but I fucked up. Therefore, I'm a fuck up. I think it's okay to have those thoughts, just as long as those are not the dominant thoughts. We can come back to what we know to be true, what we know that feels better, which is the heart of, I'm okay. The heart of knowing that this is just a moment. I'm having a moment. I'm having a moment. It's all right. Disappointment is just a part of all of it. It's just a part of what we're here to experience. We're not perfect. Nothing is perfect. Nature especially isn't perfect, and we are nature ourselves. So, knowing what we know, coming back to the things that we have come to understand are going to be better for our lives. To come back to that. Just keep coming back. Keep coming back and knowing that you got this. Regardless of the mistakes that you've made, regardless of the moments that have caused us to feel senses of unworthiness and doubt. You know, it's all a part of it. The part of healing is not to never feel those things. It's to be able to bounce back. It's to be able to not only bounce back, but to turn that into something you can look at and see it as a beautiful picture. That's just a part of the experience. This is gonna be your stepping stone. All of the mistakes and all of the lessons that we learn, especially when they hurt us, especially when we feel them so deeply that we have no choice but to change. If you're unaffected by the mistakes you made, you're gonna be stuck in that loop because you think that it's okay. You're just like, I did that. And there's no evaluation, there's no creation from it. That is where we may be in a pickle. So we have to take it all with a grain of salt, to take it all and hold it as though it's a beautiful pot of all of the different paints that you can use to create something, to create a portrait of this experience that is someone else's experience too out there. So we can give it back. We can give it back to ourselves. We can give it back to someone else who may need it. And just keep going. Keep going, keep going. As long as you have breath, you can keep going. And I hope that this message really resonated with you and it encouraged you to pick yourself up by your bootstraps. Take yourself to the gym, sweat it out, write it out, scream it out, and choose to do better when you have the opportunity to do better. And I believe that it just gets easier as we continue to make choices that align more with our truth. More and more we show up for ourselves over and over and over again, because that's what it takes. Choosing not to give up. And so I hope that you don't also choose to give up, that you choose yourself, that you choose life, that you choose hope. Because there's no way to know the extent of what we can achieve if we don't allow ourselves to take one step after the other and continue to show up. Continue, just to keep continuing and see what happens. Oof. I hope that this was helpful. I definitely feel better. Now I can go work out and feel like I've done something positive, giving something to someone that I know that I needed. In that moment, it may be a past version of me who may needed to hear this message. Someone out there who needs this. If you are someone who needed this message, I'd love to hear how it was helpful for you. And I look forward to hearing you. I look forward to seeing you. Maybe I can hear you, to know that this was helpful, will be helpful for me. And I hope that you are encouraged by this message. And I hope to see you again for the next one. Until then, have a beautiful, wonderful day, knowing that you can turn it around however you see fit. You always have the choice to bring the sun out behind the clouds. It's your world, and you can create it and mold it however you like. This is your creation. This is your art. And I look forward to seeing what we all create from coming together and helping each other out this way. So I'll see you on the next video.